All right, we're live. So we want to refactor the authentication process in this website just because it's complex. And as the website continues to develop, this complexity is sort of like it's going to collect more complexity, over time. So what we really need to do is work out the knots and loosen the system up and make it more clear so that we can continue to develop in the future without fear of this part of our code base. Um, so, Yaro, you said that you wanted to do specs when I said I wanted to refactor, and actually I sort of agree with that partially. Um, I think we should write acceptance level and integration level tests for what we're about to refactor. There already is some of that stuff here.
I mean, by the
Yeah?
way, like most of the, or I think all of the create actions functionality is already covered by specs. The destroy action is, however, not covered by specs though, which I added in one of my.
Well, I've looked at these specs, not very closely, mind you, but I've glanced at them, and I've found them to not be useful in terms of refactoring because they're overly tight and they are testing the actual implementation, in a lot of cases, of the
The, I mean,
functionality.
the request spec as well.
No, I'm not talking about a request spec, I'm talking actually about a controller spec that I've
I
seen
think
before.
like, yeah, I mean, I think that might be because the action is so big that things need to be stubbed out. A lot of the like, I mean, a lot of parts have been implemented in one method. That's why it has to deal with the controller implementation, I think.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I see here we have a request authentication. Yeah, a request spec for authentication. So I've now got three files open on my screen. Um, and
Um, I
I've got
have. Let me
Yaro.
just say, yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Can you?
All right, yeah, let me finish.
All right, sorry.
So I was just gonna say that we have three, I think, good acceptance level tests here. But I'm not sure if we have all the paths covered. So I think we should read through these tests and read through the code and just try to figure out if there's anything that's not covered here. And then we should go back to the code and start breaking certain pieces and making sure we have an acceptance test fail for that. Once we're
um uh,
confident that our code is covered, more or less the main behavior of our code is covered, then I think we can safely refactor any way we want to.
One question: are we going to only refactor the create action first, and then we can move over to other actions, right?
That was my intention, but is there a reason why we should do it differently?
No, I think that is what I wanted as well. Like the create action is sufficiently big in itself, so we could break first deal with just the create action. So that's all.
Okay, yep, I agree. Yaro, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when I started looking at the specs, to be honest, I got confused with the specs we had. And what I did is basically I started from scratch and I made a complete spec for the create action because I
Can you
didn't
link me your
find
code?
that it was covered.
You're breaking up, Yaro, so it's for me.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit, but I understood what you said. Can you link me the code that you wrote?
Sure, I'm just thinking how I should do that. Do a teammate
Go to
session
GitHub.
or
Just go to GitHub
GitHub, right?
and then give me the link to it.
Right, let me submit it then because I don't think I have it submitted.
Hello, Pete.
Hi guys. You got any coverage stats on this part of the code that you're
Some,
yeah?
some. I'm not 100% confident in it though. Confident in
All
it,
right.
so I want to examine it. I'm gonna split these out into tabs so that we have more real estate per screen. So, Sempity, you are pointing to... You're pointing to a partially refactored version. Okay. Where the main change that you've done is that you split the method on if current user and else. Okay. Yeah, I agree
Also,
with
what
that.
another thing I've done is I have tried to reduce, like there was a lot of duplication in many of the methods, so I've tried to reduce them. Like I think there were, I think, two or three parts, like the link GitHub profile and the link YouTube profile, which could be done in just one method, but where you using just two different parts. So I have tried to compact them as well.
So what method you're... We still have a link to YouTube and a link GitHub profile method, but did you... What did you
No,
change?
I mean, if you have a look, I have a look at the diff, then it will be easier to understand. Though, I'll
Okay,
just
so what should I diff it against?
just hold on. Go to the
You want me
top
to
and
diff it
just
against web? Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Um, so I'm gonna compare this to Agile Ventures Develop. Actually, yeah, that's perfect.
my later on I plan to like change like right now what it does is it deals both for registrations and login. So in the later stage I would want to like have different controllers for different things, and make sure that a user cannot register while when he's logging in using OmniAuth.
I agree with what you said there, but the last part sounded strange to me. Could you repeat the last part of what you want?
I mean, at the moment, if a user does not exist, but like tries to log in with OmniAuth, he gets registered automatically if he doesn't exist.
But how else would it be?
Like, I mean, if you have a look, we have two different parts, one for sign up and one for login, right?
Oh, I'm fully
So
aware, but you don't like the fact that when a person logs in through GitHub, that a user account is created for them in the system?
no, like there is a login and there is a sign up link, right? So in
Yeah.
the so I think like the login part should be used solely for just logging into the account, and if the user does not exist, it should show an error message. And if the user goes to sign up and then he clicks on GitHub or Google Plus, then a new user should be created regardless. That might make things easier according to me.
Okay, so you're saying that currently right now in the login system, you can actually sort of hijack it in a way to make it register you a new account, even though that's not really how the logic is intended?
I think so. Even though the logic does not intend that, maybe it happens automatically. So
So,
because of the way the
right.
existing logic was done. So
Right. And so overall, it's the correct overall behavior is the first time you come to the website as a new user, you use GitHub to get into the website. It should create you a new account. You're just saying that you'd like the logic to pass explicitly through a registration controller and then into a login controller in that scenario, right?
no, just go to the agileVentures.org. Uh, that'll be easier.
Okay, I'm here.
So you need to log out.
Fair enough.
So you see there are two parts there: login and sign up. Like if a new user comes and clicks on login and then clicks on GitHub, the like the authentications controller checks if the user exists or not. If it does not, it automatically creates that user. So what I would want is, like, if the user does not exist, it should throw an error message when the user goes to the sign in path, and if the user goes to the sign up path, then it should create a user regardless.
Hmm, I'm not 100% sure I agree with that. Do
How
we
about we just throw away the sign up part?
You, I mean, look at the sign up path. We do need. We could basically. Uh,
Yeah,
Well, okay,
I mean,
look. We need the website to be friendly enough that they don't get rejected here. But if we want to sort of have a service that filters the logic and sends it to the right place, I think that would be acceptable on the back end. And like Yara was saying, we could have this be like, don't have an account, sign up, but instead of redirecting to a third page, it just loads a different partial in here and leaves the same buttons up
yeah.
top, because technically these buttons are correct on either screen. You know, they will sign you up and then log you in, or they will in.
Yeah, on the sign-up process, after you've authenticated with GitHub, you've still got to capture the email address.
Go on.
If the user's email address is private.
You're saying when people sign up with, say, GitHub or Google+, we will always get an email address? Or not?
We won't always get an email address. So if they've set GitHub, don't display my email publicly, we don't get it back from GitHub in the sign-up API. So there's another form, just they fill in their email address at the end of the sign-up process. So that's how it differs from login as well.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right. Alright, well, let's look at some code. Let me got the 3 tests up here. Let me also get the code.
I posted the link, John, for the specs.
Okay. App controllers, authentication controller. Alright, let's look at this link.
um, is this from scratch, or like just have you added new methods, new specs to the
Yeah,
old?
well, basically, when I was going through the specs, existing specs, I got so confused by what doing what. So then I just opened a clean file and wrote specs, line against the line. Just, the first method in the controller is create, so I covered all the create stuff. And then I wanted to go further because I got really confused by the branches in the existing specs.
So would you consider this a complete replacement for the current controller spec that we have?
No, only for the create, only for the create action. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a full replacement for the create action.
Okay, well, on our new branch, let's just pull this in for that, because I was going to completely ignore the controller spec due to past experience with it, but we can give this a try as well.
Can we just compare it with the old spec and just try and have a look at whether this is, is there any like particular change, or is it just
Sure,
the same?
let's pull up a diff.
Is it the same thing written in just another way?
Well, I'm not going to spend a lot of time analyzing that. I was originally not even going to use a controller spec at all. But if Yara
Yeah,
wrote up a controller spec, I'll include it in the list of tests that will run as we continue to break things. If it proves itself to be annoying, that continually needs me to tweak it for me to change something, then we're not going to use it. But if it's useful and sufficiently loose, then I think it would be helpful. So.
I mean, if
well,
you
the main change is that it is more structured. It's done step by step, and it takes into account all actions. So basically, it tests that the welcome email gets sent. It tests that the flash messages get shown. Things like that. Those things were not tested before.
But by the way, I don't think the welcome email being sent should be tested here, because is that a part of the authentication controller as well?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. It is in the authentication controller.
So okay. On another hand, like if you really wanted to test the whole create action, I think the request spec should be taken, and the request spec and the cucumber, because I went through the request spec and I found that like when I was trying to do the refactoring, like I just ran the request spec and it like detected most of my problems.
I
So
agree.
I think the request spec is completely done. I mean, as far as I had a look at it. So I would go with that.
Uh, as far as I remember, when we were doing the authentication control, when Brian was doing it and I was doing the YouTube stuff at the same time, I remember that he was experimenting with the request spec, and we were sort of thinking, what's better, to have a cucumber test in the usual spec, and then he decided to do an experiment with the request spec. But I'm not sure what happened
But
in the end.
I think things have changed because I think the request spec covers each and every path. I mean, in the create action at least.
Yeah, I am confident that request specs are useful.
And
But
you
it
can
doesn't even matter what tests. We'll figure it all out once we start breaking our code.
okay.
We have a list of tests that we're all gonna be running every time we change something. We'll add
Yeah.
everybody's testing favorite suite into the mix and see how all of them perform.
I mean, I would my preference would be the request spec and the cucumber for omni-auth feature.
Yep, I agree.
And I would say just skip the controller spec because there is just too much mocking and stubbing to like have us be sure that it's testing the right thing or not, because
Yep, I agree. But since Yara wrote this thing, I'll include it in the things that we'll
yeah.
run. All right.
Well, the controller spec is definitely not. It doesn't cover it 100%.
Okay. One request, John, just change the color scheme to default, please.
Yeah, in a minute. Okay, so I've got Yara's spec in here. Let me change my color scheme.
There's only one question about this spec. It's the last line or second line to last.
Let me run this spec.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Typos everywhere.
What are you saying?
There are two typos for it's I think expect instead of accept.
Oh, yeah. Looks like it.
Or maybe is it something else?
It looks like something else too, but you are correct. There is that.
What line is that?
No.
No, wait. Don't
What
read
was
it.
the,
By the way, John, is this the raw controller like as it was before, or is this
this is
has
alpha
the
develop.
okay?
Um,
Okay, can you just try
Um,
running the request spec once to make sure like the everything is passing, and then you can just try
I
experimenting.
will run all the tests once before we do anything. How come I am getting a message about accept, although I can't find it in this document?
I think it's in the authentication controller then,
Why would that
because
be in the controller?
just go over to the authentications controller.
It says undefined. You're right. It is in there. Line
31.
131. Okay. Where is my controller?
what spec is that, by the way?
Okay, so omniauth isn't getting stubbed here in the spec. If you have a go to the spec,
Yeah.
omniauth is nil. So go to the top. and I think you need to set Omniauth to something here, maybe.
Okay, we're just gonna go on to the next test. We're not gonna worry about this. In fact,
I
I'm just gonna
think
close it.
yeah.
Boom.
Guys,
Just come.
I'm a bit lost. What spec
Uh,
is this?
Uh, that was the authentications controller test, and it had some failures because of like
That's the old spec.
no,
The
that was
original
the new,
spec that we had, right?
no, that was the new spec. Your spec.
let me try it one more time. I'll go
Are
back
you
to it.
sure?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think the problem is with that the authentic Omniauth variable isn't getting passed properly, so that's why.
Yeah, but the thing is, my spec is passing on my machine.
Sure.
Authentication controller spec.
Yeah.
Can you just remove everything, John, and just paste it from scratch again?
Yep, I'll do that. Mm,
Just erase everything.
yeah.
You can hit ZI to unfold.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks for the tip. But I usually get stuck in that folded thing. So and try
Uh,
from raw maybe. That's all.
okay.
Try running it now.
Yep. Okay. Looks good. Looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep it. We'll
Yeah.
see how it handles the refactoring. Um,
Request back.
next thing that popped up. Okay, fine. We'll do yours next. So these skipping the two features. Here is yours, right? No, this says controller. Let me pull up yours. It's a request authentication spec.
Not exactly mine because I have not made changes. So.
Okay. Okay. Looks good to me.
Can you just go back to around the middle? Just scroll down to that spec once.
Oh,
Go
you want to
back.
look inside? Okay.
Just 1 minute.
Uh,
Can I have a look at it? Okay, so this test is clean. Okay.
okay.
I just wanted to test like the request spec shouldn't have any mocks or stuff, so I just wanted to test that.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's run the cucumber.
Is Cucumber just the Omniauth or are there other features?
Oh, god dang.
No, just the Omnios, and it's
Map.
But it
very
seems that
poor.
it seems like the Omniauth feature doesn't really do much.
Yeah, I sort of
Yeah,
agree.
exactly.
I think there must be some like go to the create users spec after you've run finished this.
Wow, John, congratulations on your scripting skills in Vim.
I've been doing that one for a while. I learned it from, I think, a video. I just thought it was really cool that you could map keys. Um,
Yeah.
Can you go to the create users?
right now I'm doing the list users, which I think you're right. I'm not on the right one. I don't need the list users. I need the create users. Right? Yeah. So let's go for.
What's this pink square? Or
It's the weird color scheme. I mean, I have a different colored square beyond 80 characters. The fact that it's pink is because I have to change my color scheme for sympathy.
oh, I see.
Um,
Seems like this is the real thing.
as close as we have, but this only covers, for the most part, sign up.
Okay, so it seems like this was added in response to a bug request, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, okay.
Okay, so this I don't think the cucumbers make sense. Just so you can just skip the cucumber test.
Oh, you don't think that this one's useful? I mean, it at least covers the sign up part.
No,
It
well,
does
the
the same thing.
history,
It does the
the
same thing as the
history
Omni.
behind the, sorry, Pretty, you go on.
Yeah, you. I finished. I think it does the same thing as the OmniAuth feature. It does one thing less though. It does not test for YouTube.
You know, we will keep them both, and as we start to break it, we'll see which ones are, breaking at the right time.
And on that note, there might be another thing that you wanted to test. We should have wanted to test the YouTube thing because
As,
the
as far as
you.
I know, as far as I know, the sign in, the user, I don't remember what the feature is called, but anyway, the signing thing was written by Thomas, and that just checks the signing in, like entering email and stuff. And the only thing that checks the third-party authentication is in OmniAuth, and that's the only feature we have because Brian concentrated on the request spec, and basically, he just added this, and he didn't really bother to find a way of testing with Cucumber, and that's the
I,
reason why this is the only thing we have. And now for YouTube, there is a separate spec,
yeah,
a,
what
a
I was saying
separate
is,
feature file.
what I was saying is like YouTube is also a part of the authentication. So you should also run the YouTube spec if you want full test coverage.
Where's the YouTube spec?
It's I think the user videos and project videos thing. Just the user videos will work.
It's in features user videos.
Okay.
Just open it up.
I'll
How
open
did you move up in that list?
arrow key.
Ah, right. Don't want to use arrow keys. Yeah, I've written quite a few features for the YouTube videos.
So which one
And the
should we
specs
do?
are.
Open the
Project.
user
Do the
videos.
user
No,
videos feature?
User videos.
Yeah, this is the one.
So you see like this link your channel, unlink your channel. So these are the
Yeah,
things that are being tested. If you go down, these are basically testing the view. So if you scroll down, you'll see the real thing.
and
And
there is
what does that have to
also.
do with the authentication create method?
You
Well,
it checks if like link to YouTube works or not. So and link to YouTube is a part of the authentications create. So that is what it has to do with.
yeah, that's right. And also there are specs for YouTube.
Although they are not really they are completely different. They are not related with authentications controller.
Right. Okay. The specs for YouTube in authentications controller are actually in the authentication controller spec. Yeah, that's right.
I think those are the tests we need. I guess that
They're
should
at the
be it.
bottom somewhere.
And just cut the user list because that's not required. So
Right. Okay. I just want to look at this list though. I really need to be able to cat this list somewhere. Oh well, I'm just gonna print screen it.
I could tell you how to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to get too distracted right now. Like Vim is something I could spend my entire afternoon on.
That's right.
Tests. Okay.
It's quite easy though.
Okay, so there's so many to look at.
I think we can just start with the refactoring at the moment because
Yeah, I agree. Did I close the actual code?
it's in the first tab.
How do you Yarrow go to a certain tab index?
Just press 1 or whatever, the index and then GT.
Okay. I don't think I even have the real code here.
Uh, I thought you did that when you did an LS. There was this such a authentications controller.
Yeah, but those are my buffers. Those aren't my tabs. Anyway,
Oh.
um,
Just replace the first one with the authentications controller because the first one is a list user spec which isn't required.
that one's not up either. Don't confuse tabs with buffers. They're actually
No,
different.
like wait, if like the third one is authentication spec, the second one is create users, then what is the first one?
This is the first one on the off.
Okay, it's hidden.
Yeah. Um, okay, so let's do the first change. Sam Pretty from your
Okay, so for that you just need to replace all everything from the authentications
so
controller.
no method names have changed or anything like that. I can just copy paste the new method body in.
No, you need to replace the whole thing because a few method names have been added. So, although it's basically just because of the sake of memorization.
Okay, so you want me to just actually dump the entire body, the entire
Yeah,
new. Should I just grab the entire class from you?
yeah. You can have a look at the diff. It's only just the create action and a few more private methods.
Okay,
So,
I'm just gonna get remote dash v get fetch. Do I have you here? I don't. Get remote add Sam Pretty. Um.
yeah.
All right, I need your remote. Perfect. Get fetch.
Oh, it's Control L is my habit. So if you wanted the history, sorry for that. Like
Oh,
every
how do you
few
delete the
seconds,
history? What did you
Control
do?
L, Control L,
What does that do?
clears the screen on a like try it now. Control L. Try Control L. Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
What is?
That is my habit. Like I type it every few seconds when
I
I'm on
see.
the terminal.
I gotcha. Good shortcut to know. I actually want to see the contents of that fetch again. So what was the name of that branch?
Refactor create authentications controller create. I think.
Did I actually
Yeah,
fetch from
that
you? I don't think I did.
just
Say again the branch name?
refactor create the largest one.
Okay. So,
It's pasted as some pretty slash. So you need to take the second one.
oh, that's true. Whatever. What's the name of the file? Let me
Uh,
just grab the file name.
App controllers, authentications controller. There is autocomplete, so you can do that.
Yeah, true. All right.
There you go. Now you can run the specs one by one.
My phone is ringing. Do I need to pick this up? Yeah, I need to pick this up. Guys, you want to continue? I'll be back in probably 10 minutes.
How do I change
Alright.
tabs? Yeah, Yado, do you know how to change tabs?
What do you mean?
Hold on. I don't know how to change tabs. Like, can you go to the second tab or the first tab?
But what? But what do you mean change tabs?
No, like I wanted to run all the existing specs. So
Oh, change the tabs. GT. Yeah.
okay.
I was like tabs and spaces tabs. I was like, what do you want to change tabs with? Like three spaces or something.
There you go. One test passes. GT.
Alright, I'm back. How's the testing?
First two cucumbers are passing.
Right. And I think they're lacking, so we shouldn't necessarily put our faith in that. But
Yeah, run the request spec.
comma rs.
Guys, I was just thinking maybe how about since we have all the specs in place, how about just write like do a TDD, like write a new spec first, like for the code we wish we had for the refactored code we wish we have, and then do the refactoring.
Takes too much time. We already have a whole bunch of tests. We don't need to write more tests. We do really. Actually, I'll take that back. We need to write more tests, perhaps. But we
But
don't need to TDD our code. We already have TDD'd our code. This is like the next step.
But it seems
Okay,
like
so Semperty, this is your request spec that is coming up with some failures on this code. So is this something that we should now continue to clear up, or what are you thinking about these failures?
I think it's just one failure, so I think it'll be like it's just failure on one line. So I think it'll be pretty easy to clear that up. So if you like, you can just dump my code, or I think I'll just because when I ran the unchanged spec on my machine, there weren't many changes, so I must have changed the spec before. So I'll just have a look at what I can do to fix this.
On
And
your
then
side? Do you want me to push
uh,
this code up so you can pull it down?
yeah, it'll be good if you can do that.
Okay.
Just run the other specs before you do that. Just go FG. Yeah. Let me just run the other specs. Go back.
Alright. Which is the next one to run?
User videos. I went one tab forward.
Okay, yeah, let me run this. Interesting.
Yeah, that was because of some stubs in the cucumber which shouldn't have been there.
Oh,
I think.
really?
Yeah, the cucumber has been stubbed. See?
Huh. That's interesting. We need
Oh, I think
to...
no. I think this is because because I had started refactoring on the previous branch, and there were some other diffs which you hadn't pulled in. Like there were some changes in the user model as well. So yeah, I'll just try and fix that over on my side.
Okay.
If you can just push this up.
Okay. Do I need to add the modifications? Yep. Git add spec controllers, authentication controllers. There.
Also, one more thing is the have you already commented it? Just stop for a minute. Hold on. Like stop. Just pause for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have a look at my screen? If
You're
I'm
gonna need to
sharing
turn
it.
on your screen share.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just looking through the diff again, and it seemed like some of the changes that were done, there were no changes to the spec. There were just some additions to the user model because of which it might have been failing. So I'll just you can just push it up then. Yeah, never mind. I'll just try and fix that on my side while you continue working on the artifact.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
seems like Atlantic's from time, but I don't guess. I guess nobody will be attending.
Yeah, it's not a good time, I think, to go to another scrum.
Not I. That would be. Ah. Yeah, can you mute your mic? That's- There's too much background noise. I muted you.
Okay, so
What was the branch name?
it was called Test. Jeez, I can't
Like
even remember.
test authentication. It's on your pen.
Yeah.
So, are you going to like drop my things or
What?
just like are you going to start from scratch?
No, no, I do like this. When
Okay
I
then.
worked with Raphael, I had a similar. Basically, the way you start to pull out all the conditionals so we can see them in one place. I agree with that.
Okay, so if you want to fix this, then just there are just two more things you need to add. So if you can just go to the diff, you'll find out what all you need to change.
Link me the diff again.
Oh yeah, there's just one change in the user model, and then there's one extra spec that will just help you. Uh, it's in the group chat. Yeah. So make a change in the user model.
Mm-mm-mm.
If you scroll down, the authentications controller is there. Now,
Gotcha. So update YouTube ID if token.
yeah, that is why it was failing, I guess.
Okay. Um,
And there is a spec for that as well. So I was wondering why are you working on this branch? You could just pull in this my branch, but
whatever.
that's alright, no problem. So like it seems like you switched from tabs to splits. I mean splits to tabs, or are you still with splits?
I do both. Where did you want this? The bottom? Okay.
Yeah, anywhere.
Do I need something else?
There is one extra spec that you need to add.
In the which spec request?
This update, no, for this update YouTube IDF.
Oh, tell me the file name of the spec.
User spec.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay.
By the way, John, do you have a mouse with a scroll wheel on it, or
I do.
oh, that's why.
Oh,
You should just set a mapping for this maybe.
I do. Once I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, this is something I definitely need a mapping for.
Done. And just run the specs, but there should be one failure because of one simple change in the authentication spec, although you shouldn't be doing that.
All right, so the user spec passes.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the diff, you'll see that there is just this one change in the for the omniauth hash in the request spec. So
Request. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Request. Hmm? Is it called requests? Yeah, there we go.
the
Gotcha.
authenticate, yeah, that one.
What line is this? 16. I'm capturing line 16 through the last one. Okay, I gotcha. you get the info block on line 16.
I mean, like according to our policy, we shouldn't be really changing the spec, but this doesn't change any of the specs. It just adds one thing, which doesn't cause any harm. So that's why.
Mm-hmm. So 6GT.
Like
And
when I was doing this, for the first part I did was I wrote all my tests. I wrote everything that I wanted to do, and then I started changing this request spec to make it pass. And then I thought that it was a bad idea, so I just kept the request spec as it is and changed my code.
yeah, that's definitely the way to do it. Mm-mm. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. So now you can run all these specs and they should pass. Okay, something's failing. Same things. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
guess we'll have to have a look at that. Go to the user videos that was failing.
All right.
Perfect. So that's all. Just those two specs and the authentication. Which I will put. Although before you commit, I think you can just fix that spec first before you commit.
What's gonna fix it though? Do we necessarily know?
I just have a look at what it does because I just don't want to keep it as a failing spec. Just open the authentication controller.
So we have a failure at line 43 of the authentication spec. So that would be over here. Oh, I never saved this. I'm sorry. Let me run it again. Okay, so we still have
Still
failure at
failing.
line 46. So and the specific failure message said that the has content was failing. So okay.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at the diff then.
Okay, well I'm gonna commit this anyway. Hold on. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. So now let's look at the actual code. Which I don't know where it is. That was it.
Just try going to the if path, like open a split for the authentication spec, vertical split, and then scroll down to the place where it's failing. That
Mm-hmm.
that part, yeah. So I like to just go through step by step and see where it leads, because there are
Sure.
just too many conditions. So omniauth.config.mockauth provided.2send. What does this omniauth hash have? Scroll up.
Let's put a debugger here and see. You okay with that?
Yeah, no problem.
Uh, what hash are you talking about, guys?
We're
The
about to find
omniauth,
out.
and they'll this will fail because there was a typo in the debugger.
Okay.
And one more thing that's bad with the spec, even though that works fine, is that like it's doing a spec by looping over a few things, but like as Ruby Love said, you should have specs that should list it clearly instead of like, I mean, if you have a look at this request spec, it loops over the providers and then dynamically creates the it blocks, which I don't think is like easy for debugging though.
Hmm.
Like it's not really clear what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, I guess it doesn't return anything exciting, but it did something. I don't know what
No,
config mock auth is. Is this something provided within OmniAuth to help mock itself in the test
Yeah, it
I
environment?
think
is.
so.
It looks the omniauth hash.
Yeah, there you go. So it's if you if you open the let go. The provider. Oh, okay, so it's basically like changes the G plus or the GitHub or whatever it is to invalid credentials. That's right.
So what? Could you let's type provider real quick, just sanity check. G plus. Okay, yeah, it set that to invalid credentials.
Yeah, so it's failing once for G plus and once for GitHub.
So if we do new user, oh, so this is actually two tests here.
Oh yeah, two tests. That is what I was talking about with the loop. So
Gotcha.
if you open the Vim, you'll have a look.
Yeah. So is response.
No, it won't work here. Maybe I don't know. Like just we just copy this hash and then just open the Vim and then we can trace how the path will be.
Okay.
Can you guys tell me what the error is?
It just isn't giving the final thing. It says the screen is supposed to show invalid credentials, and it doesn't.
All right, okay.
Let me copy the whole hash. Okay. Odd though. Okay, yeah. Here's the second debugger catch. Gotcha. All right. So where do you want me to paste this?
Just paste it as a comment. I just want to like. Okay, that's right. So if current user is the user logged in, I guess not. Hold on, just give me a minute.
Mhm.
So it doesn't seem like we're logged in here. No. So if this would should be and then is authentication present? Probably not. So I think that's the problem here. Maybe because of yeah, that's the problem. The way it's going on, it might be because like it checks if the authentication is present, but if the authentication is not present, then it just tries to create a new user.
So
So
which context block are we in here? This we're supposed to be in the lower one.
yeah, I guess so.
But you think it's not set up correctly?
Which line was it? Like I think it was line 38, not here.
Yeah, true. I think it is actually in the top block, isn't it? I thought it was 46. 46 go. Yeah, it's now shifted a little bit because of the comment, but this was failing, and we're inside the for unregistered
For
users. Yeah,
unregistered users with the open that with the name with a profile
and I
should work with valid credentials and then should fail with invalid credentials. So I think that's basically the problem here. Maybe since it does not find our authentication, it automatically tries to create a new user authentication.
should we
So
flip
I
back
think
to the
that's
old version of the code and see if this passes?
yeah, you can, but I'm pretty sure it'll pass. Let me just go back to the old version.
Let me take out this debugger. So we're talking about the code that's within attempt login with auth, right? Because there's no current user.
Yeah. So the problem is, I think, go to the attempt login with auth method once.
Uh, I don't know if I have my C tag set up, so what's the best way? Is it defined here?
Yeah, it's defined here.
What
Just
are
go
you?
service.
Okay,
Are you? Yeah.
so here it is.
Okay, so it's automatically signed in. So I wonder how the invalid credentials used to work in the old auth.
Attempt login with auth is sign in and reach. Okay, so
It's kind of like attempt login with auth should be like just login with auth, not attempt.
yeah, like why is flash notice happening before the sign in and redirect as well?
Because is the sign in and redirect would always pass because the authentication exists. So
I'm just
that's
gonna grab the old code. We can refactor it towards what you had.
yeah.
All right, so upstream develop app controllers authentication controller. Okay, let's go in here. I'm interested in the authentication spec. Let's run this thing. Oh, it looks like the original code has the same problem, or did I need to refresh my Vim environment?
Try
I'm a,
refreshing
yeah.
or manually run it.
Uh, where is it? Okay, so if I just GG. Okay, so this is the old code up here,
Have you like
and
completely replaced it or just did you
yeah,
like
I just
replace it?
completely, yeah, I just did a checkout.
What? Do a git status. Oh yeah, you've already commented it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna just open those two files. What's it called? Authentication? Yeah, okay. And
Okay, just give me control for one moment.
sure.
What seems weird is like it's asking for if the page should have contained invalid credentials, but the original code has no mention of invalid credentials anywhere. So
Hold on. Yeah, you're right.
can you do a replace of the authentication controller spec as well?
To get the old one.
Yeah, from develop.
Yep.
Uh, Wait, where did that go?
Hmm.
Where did that spec go?
This is the spec right here.
Oh yeah, yes. Now you can try running that. But the problem is that that was authentication failed and that was invalid credentials. If you had a look, if you even had a discrete look. So
Not a discrete look. Here, I'll have a look. So what are you saying?
say it's authentication failed, not invalid credentials.
Oh. So should I just check out again from yours and then change that to authentication failed?
No, just keep the spec as it is and then check out uh, the authentications controller from my.
Gotcha. But didn't we have to do one change from yours? Remember how we changed the info hash?
Just keep it as it is. Run mine first, and then
Okay.
see if that fails, if it is really required.
Sure. Good point. Okay, so git checkout. Sam Prudy. What was the name of that crazy branch again? What did it start with?
Uh, refactor authentications control. Refactor create. Yeah.
Got it. And then we're getting app controller, authentication controller. Did we check that out? Did we? Doesn't show a
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. That wouldn't. Why would that show a change?
Because I thought I had upstreams before.
Yeah.
Foreground.
So uh,
Um,
even though you had upstream, you didn't commit. So it's the
okay,
same
fair
thing
enough.
as the.
Yep, this is
Yeah.
definitely yours. Alright, so let's run this again.
Yep. My code is correct indeed.
Okay, cool.
The cucumber, please.
So, alright. Which cucumbers do we want again?
Just exit out of it, maybe.
Exit out of what?
Just no, like just go to the foreground. I mean background. Control Z.
Okay. Oh yeah, the video. Yep.
Perfect. No failures.
The
John,
server is.
how about you alias that command to
Yep,
something in your shell so you can always
exactly.
run it?
The cucumbers will be aliased. Oh, it just blew up.
Yeah, that's the wrong place.
Huh? Wait, hold on. How did it pop in there?
I didn't undo.
Oh, it might be not able to handle the line wrap, right?
Yeah.
Um, let me
What were
just.
what were you saying, Pavel?
Hmm?
Just alias it here in the show.
One second.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh. When the world becomes silent, I get scared that my internet dropped.
Okay. Comma RT. We can just run that right now to check. Make sure it works. Cool.
That's it.
All right. So,
No, that's done. You can just commit that. Then I have one change that I would like to make. Commit that. If don't do that because you'll be adding an age ignore, right?
nope.
When you okay, yeah,
See, it's untracked.
yeah, that's because it's you did a git commit right here.
Hmm.
So I'll just switch over to my site and pull in your changes.
So I see we have this method called find by provider and UID. I go to it.
Hmm.
I don't see it defined there.
It's
It's
an active record dynamic finder, which is actually deprecated in Rails 4. You shouldn't be doing that.
Hmm.
It'll be deprecated from Rails 4.2, I think.
And what is this
I just,
actually looking up? It's looking up a user?
it's looking up an authentication. There's a separate table called authentications where I'll just I just open a teammate session and share my screen. My teammate session is in the group chat for who if you want to join.
Okay.
Where is my no, please don't hang out. Yeah.
So I should probably adopt a color scheme like yours so I don't always have to change it when other people join mine. So,
By the way, I'm on solarized, so
yeah, I mean, this looks. Let me look at what it looks like on your end. Okay, I have different colors than you, although that's not a problem. But I still need to get your color settings so that mine are more friendly.
okay. So first things first. This is the really cool thing I learned from Code School the other day. Now, what I can do here is
you guys. I'm going to have some food. So see you
Okay.
later.
All right.
and what's the other thing? I think that should be it. Yeah, that was all. These should be private methods, but for some reason these are not.
Well, let's not worry about that because I think we're actually going to suck a lot of the functionality out. The only thing I want to see left in this
Yeah,
like
it's
logic
created now.
is, well, I want to
The
see only flashes and redirects.
So that's one thing. Alright. Can you teach me how to map? Let me just try this and just
Colon
mute this
map, yeah.
RT aspect.
You need a colon bang before your shell
Yeah.
command. Yep, and then CR, and yep, that's all you need. Okay, well, you probably ran that from the wrong file. The percent sign means run the current file, and you were inside the production code. So you need to. Oh wait, no, were you over here? Go ahead and do that thing again. Oh,
Wait.
so it doesn't like your memoizable thing.
I think I need to do a required there.
Oh, it could be.
Controllers don't have active support. Never mind. They deprecated it. This Rails community is always doing all this stuff.
Mm.
So, what should be the next thing that we would do, by the way? Like, what should be the next part that we'll take after this?
Let's look at the logic in the controller and start to extract services.
Okay. This controls authentications. Yeah. Actually, I don't think I need a spec open. I'll just have a map for that again. Instead of this. Okay. What? Okay, I was using the wrong spec. I did the wrong map. Please work. It didn't work anyway.
Well, it's a pain to type file paths. So what you could do is just keep that spec open in another window and then just have your key binding set to run the current spec. So you just flip over to it and run it.
Yeah, let's open up my old map here. Yeah.
Yep, that'll work.
Comma R.
Well,
Please
you're
work.
running it off of the production code, not the spec.
Uh,
You have the same thing in both windows.
huh. Spec. Spec. Controllers.
You don't want that.
My brain's not working for some reason, I guess. I don't know why.
There you go. There you go. Now comma R should do it for you.
I'm 100% sure it'll fail for some reason. I'll just stall. Okay, I was wrong. Good. Okay, so
Alright, so conditionals. We don't want all these conditionals. We want to figure out why we have conditionals and figure out what objects we can extract from here to make the code more concrete and not require conditionals.
so like let me just explain you a few things which I think like first of all there are majorly two parts in the code for which we need to have conditionals at the moment. I think uh, at the moment, like, go on.
Yep, go on.
Okay. Okay, so one is the current user path, like when a user is signed in and when the user is not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can just keep these two conditionals at the moment and we can just extract services from what's inside these conditionals, or do you want to extract the whole thing as a service?
Ultimately, I don't want to be switching on current user, but that might be the last thing that we figure out how to remove the conditional from. So within both of these, it's obviously nested, so let's take care of the inner nest first, I would say.
Okay, and one more thing, I felt like this there was nothing much we could do about this. So if you have a look at this, what this does is uh, if authentication dot present and if authentication dot user is unequal to current user. Yeah, so let's say you are logged in and then you have a YouTube LinkedIn and the G plus LinkedIn and you want to log in as GitHub, right? Link to GitHub from the profile. but someone else or some other user is already registered with your GitHub credentials on another account, and if this conditional is not there, then that'll cause a 500 error, right? So I mean that is a pretty stupid conditional, but we just have to keep it because malicious users are always there. So you get the point.
Hmm. Yeah, though we need to, um, we still can do something about this hairy conditional. If we can't
I mean,
do anything else, we can extract it to a private method with the name of what we're actually asking for here.
so if that would be the case, then this would be a better idea. D O P equal to I end.
So a guard clause before we get into the main logic. Okay.
Yeah, that cleans up things according to me. And then if correct
But,
user represent.
mm,
You get the point. Like this makes things much cleaner from according to me. So we could just
okay.
stack this into the
Yeah,
into a
yeah,
private,
yeah, I
right?
agree.
So let's just do this. So now this looks much cleaner. We could extract this out to a service maybe,
Right, okay. Create
or we
authentication for current user, redirect path. Could we jump to that code?
yeah. I'll just try and do something that might help.
Oh, so that's the code down here at the bottom. Okay.
No, this
Create
one.
new, yeah. Um,
So
if
you see
create
this.
authentication for else if omniauth equals GitHub and okay, so what's happening here? This second on line 116, this second part is sort of like an add-on that we're doing like an extra check every time they log in to see if we're allowed to add a extra piece of information to their profile, right?
No. What this does is basically this create new authentication for current user that deals with everything that is on the profile page, like link to G plus, link to YouTube, and link to GitHub, right? So what happens is if you click on link to GitHub or you click on link to G plus, that is basically creating a new authentication. Uh, uh, but like this was there was another if clause here for a YouTube condition, but I looked into it and I found out that the YouTube thing was the same as the G plus thing, only an extra parameter for YouTube. So what I've done here is like it automatically creates authentication so that the user can log in with that extra credential. So
Mm-hmm.
if so what this does is like let's say you have I mean you've created your user with GitHub and then you log in and then link to G plus, and this helps you log in with G plus even if you've created with GitHub, right?
Okay.
So this
Does
basically
if we catch a redirect, does the method return or does it still go down to line 116? It still
no,
continues, right?
it goes down, yeah, it goes down, no problem. And what this does is like it just adds credentials to the profile.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like it adds the GitHub username. I think that's what it does. Let me just go over to link GitHub,
Yeah.
and yeah. So this what this does is Yeah. So this just adds your GitHub profile URL or
But
the
look at that though. Like we have the linking failure message tucked into this, which
I,
that's
what I
not
was
good.
what I was thinking is like I could just have this as an after save callback in the users model instead
Okay.
of having it here, right? Because I personally believe that's where it belongs.
Okay, so what we're trying to do here, if user to update okay, so yeah, we're trying to get an extra piece of information saved to the user object.
Yeah. Also, so what I was thinking is like you we could just move this if I did not interrupt you there, this part as an after save or after create to the for the authentication model.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. After create, it would basically check which kind was created, and for whichever kind it was, try to grab that extra piece of information.
Exactly.
Now, do we want it to be after create or after save? Is there a reason why
We
it
do,
should be one?
we don't update authentications. We delete them or we create new ones. There is no method for updating authentications. So
Okay, so this is a setting that when they're in the midst of this signing in with GitHub, they can choose at that moment whether or not to let us see their GitHub profile, and that choice is forever set until that authentication is deleted.
they don't have a choice. It's automatically added.
Oh, then where is this thing determined? Is it something that they've set up a while ago within their GitHub account, or
No. I'll tell you what it does. It just adds in the extra GitHub username and the GitHub email from GitHub, right?
so why would this ever fail?
The link to GitHub profile.
Yeah.
This will never fail.
Okay, we'll go to that method.
Okay, this one, I think there might be some problems with update attributes at that moment. It's basically an else for an update, right? On the Rails side. So Rails always it's a common practice to always have a else for anything that's like a save, update, or create. So this is just that.
Okay.
I mean, this shouldn't really be required, but let's say like you fetch the GitHub profile URL, but for because of some error on GitHub's end, that becomes nil, right? So that's why.
Say that one more time.
We are pretty sure that every user will have a GitHub profile URL, but for some error in between or somewhere else, we don't know where, the GitHub profile URL that's being saved becomes nil. So
Mm-hmm.
that is an else for that particular.
So you're not allowed to set GitHub profile colon nil?
I don't think so. Or maybe
Why
yes,
not?
we are because when you're creating it, it's not set. So
Yeah, I wouldn't think that that would be the reason why it would fail. The only reason it
that's
would
the
fail in my mind is that we didn't set this thing to allow update attributes on GitHub profile URL, which then would be an internal configuration error, right?
no, yeah. I think the only reason it will fail if update attributes returns false, and that would return false only if the database there's a lock on the database. No,
Hmm.
only if no, not even that. It would only return false if there would be a validation that has failed
Mm-hmm.
because
That's right.
lock
That's right. Okay.
because lock will just lock the whole database and it'll just pause the query. So let me just open up the user model here and let's see what they've got for the our model.
1998.
Yeah. Whoa. So they have no validation for GitHub profile URL, it seems. And see this. This is one thing that's really interesting. Why is this in here? I don't get it. Like, where is this being used?
That's a good question.
Let's just try that out. Apply. Okay. Create new user with OmniAuth. Yeah, I get it. This needs to be extracted into the create new user instead of here, but we'll have a look at that later because this is not what we're dealing with now. So, what do you want to do right at the moment? Like, do you want to extract this into an aftersave and just remove this else? Because
I
now we were
don't
pretty sure.
want to be really. Okay, wait. So we're going to be doing an after saving the authentication
Yeah, and
object?
yeah, I was thinking of removing this else because there's no particular reason that might fail.
Well, I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm
But
looking
we,
at some. The last time Raphael worked on this, we were actually working on a service for that. I'll link it here in the chat. Uh,
there have been so many services for that one thing, like so many parts of going through. So,
yeah. Okay, so I linked you just directly to the services, like the GitHub profile service.
but I had a look at that, I think, but I didn't really like that. Maybe no, I didn't have a look at the GitHub profile. List.
So failure.call with current user and Omnia
Okay, I
controller.
get it, but what does it do? It doesn't really do much at the moment. I'm
Let's see it in use before I answer that GitHub profile service. For GitHub.
I think that there needs to be more here, so there needs to be a lot more here than what's at the moment.
I think the basic objection I have to where we're going with this refactor right now is that we don't have a plan of how we're going to abstract out the functionality. Whereas what I liked what I was doing with Raphael is that we were planning on having this intermediate object between the user and this whole logic that would basically handle all the GitHub logic in one place, all the G plus logic in one place, and
Kind
all
of like
the
yeah.
plain old regular sign up logic in one place.
So that like you remember that article you sent me? So that's kind of what that article talks about, having a policy object that deals with your different types of authentication. So that was what I
Yeah.
was thinking of going with this, but on a
Yep.
different path. Yeah,
Okay.
it
Well,
kind of
let's think about where we could at, extract the first policy object. We don't have to do any one in particular that Raphael has already done. So which one do you want to do?
okay. So let's first we can just go to the create new authentication for current user maybe. So
Okay.
okay, hold on, where is it? Where did it go? Yeah, so this stays as it is. This create authentication for user, right? This part stays as it is, and then here you just create like if maybe if like changes if condition to something else, and then just instead of link GitHub profile you just have GitHub policy object or dot new or GitHub policy dot create, so, dot
What's
new.
inside create authentication for user? Oh, that's one line above. Current user dot authentications dot build, and then it sets up what sort of. So that's
Just
sort of
one
like an
image.
abstract factory. It returns one kind or another of authentication.
This thing, the create
Yeah.
authentication for user, that doesn't do much. It just I think we'll do the immediate refactor here. Just a few extra characters. Yeah.
Oh, the difference between build and create and save. Yeah, build and save and create. But overall, the point is that current user dot authentications is getting a new way of logging in, like GitHub or G+, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
And go on. But one thing that I wanted to say was this thing, this functionality here,
mhm.
and the user dot apply omniauth is the exact same thing almost. So this could be extracted into one service maybe, and then we could just
So do I
have
look at the
separate.
definition of apply omnia?
Yeah. Our model. No. There you go. Have a look. Exact same thing.
Mm. What's the
Right.
first line doing here?
Just setting the email when you're creating a new user.
Okay, so we're assuming that it will always have an email, though. Didn't
Uh,
you just point out the fact that Omniauth might not return an email? Not that it matters. We could just, if it's blank, set it to be blank again. But,
uh, so what I was thinking of is in the when I started with this if thing. I mean the conditional
mm-hmm.
thing is like this thing are exactly same. So we could have this extracted into some kind of object or service or whatever. And then
Yeah, I
after
think the
that we
service could be called apply Omniauth, actually.
and yeah exactly or build authentication or whatever like that. And then
Right,
after that you just have these two parts to link GitHub profile and to link to YouTube, right?
right.
Because you see here, wait, what? Okay, whatever. So here it does not have anything to do with link to GitHub for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's another flaw with the code. If you noticed, like if you create new authentications for current user and then you link GitHub from here, it updates your GitHub profile
Yeah.
URL, right? But if you create new user with authentication and click on GitHub, it doesn't do that.
So, what I would hope is that after our refactoring, we would sort of have these things piped together in a sensible way. That the create new user, if we were doing a create new user with authentication, maybe there would be a little bit of setup in advance or after, like there would be a before or after part, but it would basically get piped into the main part of what we're building for the apply Omniauth or build authentication, right?
Exactly.
But actually, which one should be piped into which?
I mean, you could have like at the beginning, like in create new user with authentication and create new authentication for current user. So both of them, I was thinking of the same parts. You do apply Omniat first, and then you do the policy objects, right?
I feel like if we were to have just close our eyes and forget about all this code, the first thing the system would check is, okay, you, if the system is handling a request for some sort of sign-on or sign-up with GitHub, let's make that the scenario, because that's something right now where it works either way, whether you're signing in or signing up, right?
Yeah,
Just
that's right.
sanity check me and say yes. Okay. So the first thing the system would check is there a user at all? You know, is there a current user? And if not, then it's gonna have to create. Okay, actually, stop me here. The if there's no user, what logic occurs first? If is there first omniauth logic or is there? Okay, I see it actually down here at the very bottom. If you Shift G, go to the last method.
No, no. If there is no, you mean if there's no current user or if there is?
Well, these things never occur at the same time. Here, let's go to the last method. So the first thing that happens is that we do user.new. You could just DG, D capital G. Capital
Yeah.
G is reference for the end of the file. Um,
Yeah, just minor refactoring here. So
refactoring white space, huh? Okay, go
no, no,
ahead. This is interesting.
no, no,
Oh,
no.
I
That
guess
won't
that's not
work.
that interesting.
That won't work. That won't work. Go on.
Well, I mean, that would work. You just have to save that into the user.
Yeah,
User.new.apply on the auth.
this looks better.
Sure.
So,
Um,
by the way, to continue on where you left, the thing was the idea you're giving is a really nice one. So basically, in the first method, what you could have is like one path for GitHub and one path for G plus, right? And then for but the problem arises is like it's kind of a matrix of sorts where you have if GitHub then check for current user and then if like
well, see,
if
stop right there and let me go back to the bottom. What I want to do is have the check at the very outer level. Is there a current user? No. Then do user.new and pass that into current user. And then march forward with whatever logic you're going to do, right?
see the problem here is there's a like if you try to have the outer conditional as a GitHub or not GitHub, like GitHub or G plus, then you have to have four inner conditionals like GitHub and current user, GitHub and not no current user, and then G plus current user and G plus no current user, and then the opposite way again, like current user and GitHub, current user and G plus, and then
What I want to do, I don't want to look at the top method. What I want to do is 107 go. Well, what's 107 GG? Wow, that did not work. 107 GG. Okay, so I basically want. I want that.
yeah,
Maybe I'm
perfect.
mistaken. But couldn't we
No,
railroad a lot of this logic together, because we have a lot of, because the two cases we have here is either we already have a current user and he's getting extra authentication, or we don't and we have a new user, but either way that person's getting extra authentication, right?
no, that was interesting because you see, if we just try and do some extraction here, you'll see that this if which I was mentioning to you, this part 107 to 1115 is almost the same as 125, right? Apply omniauth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So like we just combine these methods, and then here like here user could be, here we could just have user equals current user or user dot new.
Exactly.
And here what we could do is, like, if authentication dot present, attempt login with auth, else create new authentication.
Say that one more time.
Like instead of this national conditional, you could just have if authentication dot present, attempt login with auth, else create new user, which would deal both with create new authentication for current user and create new user with authentication. I just
Mm,
this will make me more sense. Hold on. Just don't mind the syntax.
yeah, that's fine. I only care right now about the order, so I don't care about the condition.
So
Conditional.
basically, uh, this method would be create new user with authentication merged with uh, create new user with
New authentication with current user. Yeah.
perfect.
I agree. Okay, yeah. That looks like the major refactor of the responsibilities. So explain to me why authentication would be present. I'm a little foggy on the implementation details. Underneath this, authentication.present would be true if... What scenario would catch the first if block?
Yeah, again, that might be a problem, right? No, that won't work, because I was thinking like we could just have one where we could just log in, and the other parts where like where we just create a new user, but this would work. Uh, yeah. So what it does is it checks if nobody signed in, and then the omniauth has been successful, right? Like the omniauth request has been successful, and authentication record has been, I mean, authentication at present checks whether authentication object is returned, which basically means that if the authentication by omniauth has been successful, then an authentication object is returned by omniauth, right?
Okay. And why do you
Yes.
need the if not current user in there as well?
Because create new user, create new authentication for current user, and create new user with authentication, all of them will be returning authentication, I think. I mean, this create new authentication for current user will also return an authentication, so that's why.
I understand that part. I was asking about the beginning of line 7, the first half of your conditional.
Yes,
If
if you don't have that, then create new authentication for current user will also go into attempt login with auth.
so if not, if there is a current user, the only reason why he'd be hitting uh, this controller method is because he wants to add a new form of authentication.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see what we're doing here. Yep. Okay. So should we work on a create new authentication service? Oh, I'm sorry. I was mashing my escape key on you there. Did somebody just grab your tongue so you can't talk?
No, I just wanted to express my feelings. No.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I guess I'll leave. I just wanted to make it more dramatic. All right, I'll leave.
All right. Well, thanks for your help.
I'll just push up what I've done.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get
What branch is this?
test authentication on mine.
Okay. Perfect.
Hold on. I'll need to make sure. GD. There are some changes which we don't need. So hold on. Okay.
You could just do an interactive commit with git commit -p and reject the parts that you don't need. That's the easier way to do it.
No. That will cause problems because some of the parts are merged with things. So I'll just.
Oh, okay.
I guess you remember what we'll do here. So I'll just post working code here.
What? No. Put that back in there and just comment it out. Do you know how to do a block comment?
Yeah. Although I don't think it will work on Rails. I'm not sure though.
I'm completely unfamiliar with this.
This is how you do block comments in Ruby.
Never seen this before.
I mean, I don't think this works in Rails. How are you thinking of doing this?
Well, I was just going to do a little Vim shortcut. I'll do it, then I'll explain to you what I did. Is that okay?
Oh yeah. Hold on. I'll just find some block comments in Ruby. Yeah. If you have a look at my screen, you can find it out though. See?
Interesting.
But this doesn't work in Rails. It's just Ruby.
Okay.
For some reason, or is it just Vim? I don't know. Whatever.
Uh,
I think I remember the way you did that, so I'll just try
okay,
that
so
out.
yeah, Control V, and then
Hold
get
on.
a vertical selection.
Hold on. Stop. Let me just remember.
Okay.
Uh, so this will become VVV. Shift I hash, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. No.
Oh,
What was it again?
you need to do escape after you do your Shift I hash.
V V Shift I
Then escape.
escape. No.
Okay, so you did a different kind of V, and that might have been the reason why. Do Control V, and use
Control
J
V.
to, yep. And then, yeah, go down.
Oh yeah,
You don't
that's
need
the
to go
problem.
left or right, actually, you just go down.
Yeah, no.
And then Shift I.
Okay. Sorry.
I think you figured it out, though.
Control V J Shift I hash escape. Vim
There you
slow.
go. Cool.
No. What else is in the GD?
You can look at the diff here. gdiff is,
Never mind. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's all. That's exactly what
Okay.
we wanted. I hope to catch the recording tomorrow, or I'll just catch the diff. I don't care for that.
I actually need to stop and work on something else.
Okay, then good for me. I can work on this tomorrow because I will like want to do this refactoring.
Yeah.
Out design plan for coming refactoring. Okay, so bash commands don't work. Yeah, that's easy. Yes, yes. Okay. Uh, I just exited out my teammate session. Alright.
Yep. Okay. I will see you later.
Bye,
Bye.
Yaro. See you tomorrow.